Hey everybody, AC here, and welcome back to another episode of Mang-Gust Volume 2. Coming in at number 8, we have Rosario Vampire. Now, this is the 14th volume of Season 2 for Rosario Vampire, because, oddly enough, the manga for Rosario Vampire, is split up. The first and second half of the series is split up. In the second half of the series, for some reason, it got rebranded as Season 2. Um, whatever that actually means. I don't understand how books can have seasons, but you know what? It's a fantastic series, nonetheless. Season 1 had 10 volumes, and this has 14 for a total of 24 volumes in the whole series, and the entire series had a little over 100 chapters. I believe Season 1, if I'm remembering correctly, had 40 chapters, and Season 2 had 67 chapters. Of course, one of those chapters, this whole thing is one chapter, and it is just the longest chapter ever. Let's see, what page is it? Page 214 is chapter 67. The final chapter of the series is page 214. And even if I take away, like, let's see, how many pages? 1, 2, 3. So basically about 6 pages. That still leaves 207 pages. 207 pages or 206 pages for just one chapter. For one chapter, over 200 pages for a single chapter. This one chapter alone would be enough to make an entire volume out of. Just this one chapter. So, yeah. So I'm despite the egregiously long second to last chapter, I absolutely adore the series from start to finish, from the first volume of Season 1 to the final volume of Season 2. It's all fantastic. If you don't know what it's about, a boy named Skune has failed to get in pretty much every single high school that he's applied for, and then he is offered to go to a high school that he's never heard of. Desperate to continue his education, he agrees, and then he quickly learns, once he gets there, that this is a high school of monsters, and he is the only human. And to make matters worse, everywhere it goes, it seems that other monsters talk about how much they want to devour humans. So now he has to hide his identity from the entire school. But he's not going to do it alone. He ends up befriending a vampire named Mocha, who has two sides to her. There is the sweet and lovable pink-haired Mocha that is always happy and optimistic. And then when the Rosario seal over her chest is removed, she awakens as a true vampire. Her hair changes from pink to white. Her chest and butt grow bigger for some reason. Because why not? And she winds up kicking a lot of ass. When the Rosario is on, she is severely weak. But once it's taken off, her inner vampire awakens, and Skune, being a human, is able to take it off. Only humans are able to take the Rosario off. And so, in a quite literal sense, she needs him to be whole. And together, the two of them try very hard to fit into this new school, and keep the fact that Skune is a human a secret. Along the way, they end up forming friendships with a succubus, a snow fairy, a witch, a werewolf, so on and so forth. And it is just the series just kind of follows all this whole group as they go through, as they traverse through the trials and tribulations of high school life, at a monster high school. But yeah, it sounds, from that premise, it sounds like it would be a basic school life, but it really goes places, especially in season 2. Season 2 especially goes to various places. In season 2, you don't spend long at the school. I believe it's the 3rd volume of season 2 when they end up like leaving the school for like 3 volumes, and then they come back for like 2 chapters, and then they leave again, and then 2 chapters later they come back for another 2 chapters, and then they leave again, and then they're gone for the rest of the series. Season 1, there was a lot of time spent at the school, and getting to know each of the characters that are going to be important throughout the 2nd season. But season 2 was mostly spent outside of the school and doing other things. Season 1 of the manga covered their first 2 years at this school. The first 5 volumes covered the first year, and then the next 5 volumes covered the 2nd year. And then the entirety of season 2 essentially covers their final year. By the end of the series, they're preparing for graduation. They're preparing for graduation and preparing for what comes next. And my one complaint for the ending of this series, and it is the main reason why it is not higher on the list, is at the very end of the series, it is told to us that villains that temporarily became allies, villains from season 1 that temporarily become allies in season 2. The narrator goes on to tell us that those villains would eventually cause problems once again for the heroes, and that they even team up with some of the villains from season 2 to form a whole group of villains hell-bent on bringing Skune and all of his friends down, because Skune and all of his friends just become too powerful. And so we're told that is a threat that they will have to deal with. And we are also told that Skune is going to undergo training to get a position of power, a certain position of power. And we unfortunately never get to see that training. We never get to see what actually happens after they graduate. We never get to see him actually take the position of power. We get hints as to who everybody ends up with. Um, and a lot of these pairings you could totally see coming. One of them, there is one pairing that happens that I was not expecting, and it doesn't even get confirmed in the actual series itself, but more so the these these four panel comics that happen at the end of each volume. One of the pairings gets hinted at in those four panel comics at the end of the final volume, and it is such a weird pairing. It's such a strange pairing that I never would have thought would actually happen. And it's so weird that's where the foreshadowing for that pairing happens. Is there in the four panel comics. So that's a little strange. I really would have liked to have seen all of these pairings officially get together in the series. And I would have liked to have seen all of those villains team up and see what they would do, and how they would fight against the group of main characters after they've gotten so powerful. And I would love to see Tsukune's training and his rise to power. So there was talks of a season 3 in the works. For years, there was talks of a season 3 that was planned for the manga. It was something that was actually planned for the series. But unfortunately, it just never happened. And let me quickly take a look and see when when the final volume came out. That was 2015. That was May of 2015. That's let's see. 2009. It was the end of 2009 when the end of season 1 happened in the manga. And it was mid 2010 when season 2 started. So it wasn't that long of a wait. So it has been over 7 years since the final volume of season 2 released, and we have yet to get a season 3. And honestly, I don't think we ever will at this point. At this point, it's been so long, I don't think we ever will get. I don't think we ever will get a season. I don't think we ever will get a season 3. I would love to, and I have a feeling that if we did, it would probably be about as long as season. But probably be about as long as season 1, about 10 volumes. That would be my guess. 10 volumes, maybe 11 volumes at most. Because I could see this. I could see this creator rounding off the series at 35 volumes. I could see this creator doing that. They chose to wrap up season 1 with 10 volumes, and they chose to wrap up volume 2 with 14 volumes to bring the series up to 24 volumes. So I could totally see them like making sure that it lasts for 11 volumes, making season 3 last for 11 volumes to bring it up to 35. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever get that. So there were things that were hinted at. There were several things that were hinted at and implied that we never got to see. Unfortunately, we never got to see a lot of this. A lot of questions get answered. So that's the reason why it's here on the list and not higher up. I would have it be a little further up if it had gotten a third season and we had actually gotten a proper conclusion to a lot of the stuff that was built up. What we did get was still good. And the stuff that they did hint at happening, wasn't anything like massive. It was more so just, oh, these villains from season 1 and season 2 are teaming up, and they're going to be a threat in the future for the main characters to deal with. But they're all villains that we met before, so we know what they can do. We know their move sets, we know their abilities, we know their powers, we know all that stuff. So we have a pretty good idea of we can make a pretty good guess as to how their teamwork would end up, and how well they would work together. So even though we didn't get official conclusions to a lot of that stuff, we have enough information to make educated guesses as to what would have happened in the third season if it had continued. So I'm not too hurt about it. That's why I'm still willing to put it in the top 10, in my top 10. But I do wish we had actually gotten a third season. So here it is at number 8. But let me know in the comment box below. What do you guys think of this series? Do you like it? Who's your favorite character? My personal favorite character is Mizore. I absolutely love Mizore. She was one of my earliest anime crushes. And after I saw her in the first 2 seasons of the anime, I decided to go and read the manga. And I was shocked, absolutely shocked, to find out that the events of the first season of the anime only covered the first 3 volumes of season 1 of the manga, and the second season of the anime only covered the first 2 volumes of season 2 of the manga. And it had a anime original ending. It didn't even end. It didn't even end the way the manga went. So yeah, between 24 volumes, they only covered 5. In the anime, they only covered 5, and they completely skipped over. The majority of season 1. They skipped over 7 volumes in season 1, just so they could introduce Kokua in season 2. But yeah, Mizore is still my favorite. I still love her character. But let me know in the comment box below, who was your favorite character? And have you read the manga yet? If not, I highly suggest you go do that. It's absolutely wonderful. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good jazz. Join me in the next video for number 7. All right. Take care, everybody.